minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome, everyone. This is another episode of Lunchin with Lisa. We come on every Thursday, 7 to 8, live on Facebook and YouTube. But I did want to mention that this is actually our last show of the month because of the holidays. So this is the last show on Thursday because next Thursday, of course, is Thanksgiving. So in addition to that, I want to just say everybody have a wonderful holiday because it's going to be a different Thanksgiving for many this year, but we're going to look at the bright side of things. So why not have some wonderful women who are walking in excellence kind of lead you into the holidays. So plus they have something else that's going on this weekend that they're going to lead you into, and I'm going to let the visionary share a little bit about that. But before we get started, I usually have like a just because moment. And it's a moment when I kind of take out time to share somebody's product or something they're doing or an event just randomly. Just a little joke, no checks in the mail, nobody's paying me for anything, but I just love to shout people out. So I wanted to give you all a heads up that Sharon Parker, if you don't know her, you can look her up on Facebook. She has an event coming up December 14th, and it's the Rosa's 8th annual Leading Within Conference. So she will be joining Lunchin with Lisa in December again, just to get everybody ready and register for her conference. But I wanted to shout her out. You can register today at LW Conference 2020 at eventbrite.com. But the name of her program or her conference is Reclaiming Your Legacy. The theme this year is the power of your story. So please reach out to Sharon. She has a wonderful conference if you're interested in history and where we come from and how to learn more about, just the legacy. Your legacy, everyone's like our legacy. Sharon is putting on this wonderful conference, so please reach out to her. So that's my little just because moment. But I want to now go into introducing the visionary for this project. It's a book project, but it's actually not just a book project. It's a lot more than that. So I want to start off by introducing the visionary, and then I'm going to have her kind of share the contributing writers, and she's going to co-host a little bit with me because she knows them better than I do. And she could probably say it better. So first, I want to introduce you to Dr. Tashika Green. Dr. Tashika L. Green is a transformational servant leader who leads with the heart of a servant, but the mind of a leader. She views leadership not as a job or career, but a calling with a greater purpose. Dr. Green has over 18 years of experience as an educator. She is an inspirational speaker, influential coach, 8-time author, entrepreneur, philanthropist, talk show host, and founder, president, and chief executive officer of To Everything There Is a Season. So Incorporated. So you all know that she's pretty busy. So thank you so much, Tashika, for giving us this hour because I know it is taking time out of your busy day. The Deborah C. Arthur Bolgen Business and Leadership Development Institute, To Everything There Is a Season Publishing, And the Deborah C. Offer Bolden Memorial Foundation, Women of Virtue Walking in Excellent Awards, signature by William Green, and I Am a QT, Queen in Training, are some of the works of Tashika Green. She serves with a focus to support individuals and organizations in identifying the gifts and talents within themselves and providing them with the systems, structures, and resources to fulfill their purpose, which is one of the reasons why you all better be in this room right now, and sharing this. So I wanted to introduce you. She's going to share a little bit more about what she's doing and why we're all here. But welcome, Dr. Tashika, and all of the ladies. And I'm excited to get to know you all better. So welcome to Lunchin with Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa. We are so glad to be here today. And thank you so much for sharing your platform with us today. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about, and we'll get into what's happening this weekend, because when Tashika does it, she does it big. So it's not just today. And I know a lot of you women have been doing some interviews really all over, which is extraordinary because people are getting to know what walking in excellence is all about. So I'm happy to be a part of that. And sharing, how you all walk in excellence, and teach us a few things. We need to know. This is a lesson that everybody should be taking. Men, women, everybody. So Tashika, tell us a little bit about this project and how it got started, and where you all are going with this.
Thank you, Lisa. So the project got started 2 years ago, in particular with the book anthology, Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence. However, the work started almost 6 years ago, in 2014. So my mother passed away in 2010 with stage 4 stomach cancer. She was 53 years old. She was diagnosed, in 30 days from her onset, she had passed away. Wow. And she was 53. She had never been sick, didn't have any symptoms that really, were prevalent at the time. Went to the doctors for an ulcer. Come to find out it was a bleeding ulcer, and then to come to find out the ulcer was cancerous. And so I always tell people my mother did not die from cancer, but she died from the things that brought on the cancer. And so that being said, I really encourage, women to really love themselves and take care of themselves and, build themselves up, and to step back and understand that no is a complete sentence, and that everybody cannot have your yes. And so with that being said, I wanted to honor my mother's legacy, and I heard you saying I salute Sharon Parker, because she has a phenomenal event, and so her event that's coming up about legacy. But I wanted to honor my mom's legacy, and I always say legacy is not what you accomplish, but it's what you have prepared others to do. And I recall the last words my mother said to me were, "Did I do a good job?" And I said, "What do you mean, did you do a good job?" She said, "Did I do a good job in raising you?" And I told her, "You did better than a good job. You did a great job." And so with that being said, she began to just speak to me and in me, and pass that mantle that she had of loving others, serving others, helping, being the resource, pushing people to purpose and things of that nature. And so with that being said, I wanted to carry on what my mother has taught me, so that I could be, as I stated, a servant leader to others, and to just give and love and just help as much as I can. And so that birthed the Deborah C. Offer Bulgin Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence, the Memorial Foundation, in which we give a student a monetary donation for school. And I will be announcing her shortly. She's going to be announced tomorrow. I'm excited about that. And also the anthology. So that's why we're here today. I said my mother had to die so that I could live. She turned my ordinary into extraordinary.
And this is actually is this the second year?
This is the second year for the anthology, but the 6th year for our event.
Okay, this is exciting. I'm excited to be there. I will definitely be there. I think what you're doing is extraordinary. You've been on the show before, and we talked about education, and you have been a light since the beginning, especially in the middle of this COVID, when you came on and talked about education. And this is just, to me, furthering that. I wanted to actually, as you introduced some of the contributing writers, one of the first things I wanted to ask you about, because I know the book is about women Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence. So one of the first questions I wanted to ask everybody as you introduce them is, what virtue do you want more in your life, more of in your life? I know you mentioned character and courage and wisdom. And I think there's another one you mentioned, but in addition to those, what virtue do you want more of in your life? Because I know every time and you all are already walking in excellence, but it's, when women are walking in excellence, the strong part about that is that they're wanting to do more. So I got courage, but I got other things too. So you don't want somebody to just rely on one part of it. It's a whole big picture. So I wanted everybody to kind of share in that, and also introduce everybody to us.
Sure. So I'll introduce everybody and they can answer your question. And so I'll just go around how I'm seeing them on the screen.
Okay.
So I'll go to the top first and introduce you, Dr. Essie McCoy. I'm grateful to Dr. Essie McCoy. I met her in a network group that we were a part of. And immediately, we clicked because we were educators, and not only just educators, but we were leaders in education. And so with that being said, Dr. Essie, this is her second year in the book. So this is volume number 2. Dr. Essie was in volume number 1. She's in volume number 2. And I'm grateful that she, believed in the vision and planted her seed in good soil. So I'm thankful for that. And she's just, I don't even know how to say it. Dr. Essie's bio is longer than mine. I'm just saying. I gave you the short version. But she is a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, an educator, a fabulous mom. And so I introduced Dr. Essie. Next in the corner, I have Tabika Garnes. Actually, this is the first time Tabika was in the book. And I love Tabika because she had questions. And I like people that have questions. I always say, take an inquiry stance. Before you jump into something, ask those questions so that you can get the answers that you need. And so through her inquisitiveness, God led her to write in the book. So I'm thankful for her. Next, we have Kenyatta Powers Rucker, and I celebrate her because she is truly a virtuous woman and she just got married. So we're still celebrating.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. And again, I met Kenyatta through a network group that I was in. And she, talked about how much she was into science, technology, engineering, math. And, those are the type of things that pique my ear. Like, I'm ready to go when we start talking about things in education, right? And so we just connected and I shared some things with her about a vision that I have and things of that nature, of her working alongside of me with that. And then when she saw the announcement for the book project, she reached out. And here she is today, and she's a great woman. She's going to tell you all about herself because she is not just a woman in virtue, but she's also her story. She's a history maker. She has made some marks in history, and so we're going to let her tell about herself. And then definitely last but not least, and let me tell you, she is the cheerleader of the group. She is the supporter of the group. If nobody else show up, this one will show up. Let me tell you, and I am so grateful for her. Yes, Sheila Gibson, another entrepreneur, coach, consultant. She does fabulous things, especially now in the time that we're in. The work that she is doing is needed. And so I'll let her tell you about what she does. And she's a first-time contributing author to the book as well. And I met her when I was hosting another book launch. And so when I hosted another book launch, I met Sheila, and she reached out, and here she is today. And we've connected on so many levels. Her granddaughter participated in my summer virtual camp, and she's like, when are you going to have another one? And I'm like, Sheila, I need a break.
I love it.
For her and everybody that's here today, and I'm very appreciative to them. So I introduce to you the wonderful ladies of the Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence, Volume 2.
Yes, so I'm going to go in the same order and with the question, and I'll repeat the question, but along with that, just share with me a little bit about yourself and also share what attracted you to this project, why you wanted to be a part of this project. So let's start with Dr. Essie McCoy.
Dr. Essie looks like she's a little crazy.
Can you hear me? I think we'll go to.
Good evening to everyone.
Oh, good.
And I do apologize, but I am having a serious issue on you. Good evening.
think we lost you, but can you hear us?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little delayed. We're missing a few words, but
Good evening once again. To apologize. I am having a serious cold. So if there's a, let me know. Everything that
I think we're missing. Yeah, we're missing a lot of what you're saying. Do you think it might be easier to go out and come back in? Maybe that'll clear it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna text her and let her know.
Okay. So what we'll do is we'll move on down and we'll come back to Dr. Essie. So and make sure I pronounce your name right, because I don't like to mess up names. So people mess up my last name. As simple as my maiden name was, they mess it up all the time. So I want to say your first name right, and say it for me.
Tabika.
Tabika. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm wanting to pronounce the T-A-I, and I'm like, okay, Tabika, I got it. Because believe it or not, my maiden name is Dove, and I heard Dove so many times, and I'm like, when do you say Dove? Never.
Wow. Wow.
But people will tear up a name, so I like to make sure I'm doing it right. But welcome to Lunchin with Lisa, and tell us a little bit about yourself, and then the question of what attracted you to the project, and then what virtue do you want more of in your life?
So, thank you for having me this evening. And I'm a certified pharmacy technician, and I've been one since like '94, working with people, serving people. That's what I like to do, is to serve. And so when I came, someone shared this with me, this anthology with me. They had participated in the first one. And I looked at it and I was like, okay, am I really going to have time to do this? Because, I didn't want to start something if I couldn't finish it. And I wanted to do it, in excellence. So I thought about it a couple days, and then I filled out the application, and I spoke with Dr. Tashika, and the conversation, that we had, it felt like I knew her already. Like, that was my first time speaking to her, but just the warmness of her voice. And she's very inviting as a person. And so I was like, okay, I'm very comfortable, even in speaking with her, I am very comfortable. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna, make time for this. So I made time for it. And, I just want to thank God, because, God does things in ways that we never understand. And so, just the reason that person told me about it, and then I decided to go forth with it. And now, the different doors that are open on my behalf because of it. And sometimes God will take us out of our comfort zones because he has so much that he wants us to do. But if he doesn't push us a little bit, or make us uncomfortable, we'll stay in a place where he's trying to move us out of. So he helps us, not miss our opportunities, our blessings, everything that he has for us. So I just want to give him praise for choosing me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what is one of those virtues that you want more of in your life?
Wisdom. Yes.
Yes.
Because in every relationship, in every situation, on our jobs, in ministry, and in anything, we need to have wisdom, because we need to know that we're saying the right thing, that we're making the right choices. So wisdom is very, very important to me. And how can I put it? When it comes from, because sometimes we as humans we think we have our own wisdom, but when we allow God to work on our behalf and we walk in his wisdom, then everything just comes into alignment. So I would say wisdom for me.
Absolutely. And I absolutely agree. That's one of, I'll take them all, but yeah, wisdom especially, because you need to know, knowledge is key. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll sure circle back around. More questions. I'm enjoying this so far. Kenyatta, I wanted to come to you and share with us a little bit about who you are and what attracted you to this project, and then what virtue you want more of.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I am so appreciative to be here and be a part of this podcast tonight. I am work in state government, Maryland state government. I've been in IT for the last 20 years, and I am currently the Chief Information Officer for the Department of Human Services.
Mhm.
And that is managing the IT systems for the Social Services Office for the state of Maryland. I am also a mentor and a speaker. I'm a huge advocate for young ladies and our underrepresented youth in IT and encourage them into IT fields. And it is important to me to mentor to them to understand and get to see someone in a position that they may have been interested in, to someone that may look like them to be in
Mhm.
a higher position. Um, why I'm interested in this project? Oh my goodness! So I have been following Dr. Tashika for quite a while, and I finally got a chance to meet her at a networking event. Almost about a year ago. This was sort of kind of right in when the first gala, the first book was coming out. And when I really got a chance to meet her in person, and she was hosting an event, and then I saw a lot of her other projects that she was working on. I'm like, she is someone I really want to get to know. So, and when I saw this come up where she was leading, I'm like, yeah, so this is a perfect assignment for me. So when I saw that, I'm like, should I? Because I'm a first time author. So I've never
Okay.
done this before. And this is something that I've always wanted to do. And I've been encouraged by so many people to tell your story. So it is wanted to just get my foot in the door. And I felt that this was a perfect opportunity, especially to work with a woman of God that can help guide us through this entire process.
Wonderful. And what is the virtue that you want more of?
I'm going to say strength. Strength in dealing with some of the things that come our way, and thanking God for the strength that He is able to give to get through some of these situations. Being in IT as an African American female has not been easy. And I thank God for the strength and the wisdom that He has given me to continue on this path and to encourage others to do the same.
Yeah, and I wanted to thank you for the IT being a Black female in the IT world is yeah, I'm sure full of challenges. And I love seeing it. And the fact that you are actually mentoring other people to, other young people to go into that field is wonderful, because I know sometimes, children get discouraged,
Mm,
especially with that field. Even me being in the, being in the government for years and dipping into that area, it was a little intimidating. Yeah, so it was like exciting, but at the same time, it's like you have to be ready because the competition is humongous.
yes.
So that is a big challenge that you have on, and thank you so much for doing that, because our youth need it.
Thank
And
you.
welcome to Luncheon with Lisa. So I'm going to move on to Sheila, and then Dr. Essie, we're going to bring you back in. But Sheila, tell us a little bit about you, and tell us what attracted you to this project and the virtual you want more of.
So, good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me on your show. I am Sheila Gibson. I am a retired federal government employee for over 33 years. My background is paralegal, but an administrator. I served for the Pentagon for over 17 years as an office manager. So I managed over 20 something people. I came so by I've been writing, but I never was involved in a book anthology before. I was an author, co-author on a book last year, and so that's how I met Dr. Tashika. And after me and her connected, and when she was bringing this project up, I was very glad to go before God and pray about it, and knew that this was a place where God wanted me to be. One of the things with me, I love people. I love to talk.
Mhm.
I'm a great communicator, organizer. anything that I can put my mind to do, I can. If I can do it, someone else can do it as well. I one of the persons where I know that God had a calling on my life from an early age, and I think all He needed from me was my yes. So one of the things I would love to have more from God is more discernment, and letting God know that He can trust me to move forward. Anything that He puts my hand to do, I'm willing to do, to say yes.
Absolutely. And discernment, yeah, that's one of my things. I pray for discernment probably daily. And I double up on it sometimes because, sometimes things kind of sneak around you. So I'm like, okay, let me do an extra one for some discernment because you definitely need that. So thank you so much for joining the show. And Dr. Essie, welcome back to us. And I wanted to ask you, tell us a little bit about you. And then tell us what attracted you to the book, because I do notice that some of the contributing writers were on the first project. So Tashika, that has to be really make you smile that people wanted to even return to do a second volume. That's a huge compliment. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into what virtue you want more of.
Thank you once again for being so patient with me. I think I was having connection problems, so hopefully that is resolved. I am Dr. Lee McCoy, and I can tell you I have retired field of education after spending 30 years in the state of North Carolina, pre-K through college. I've taught at the university level in North Carolina, and then transitioned here in 2018 to George Mason University. Decided to open my own educational consulting company. So I do speaking engagements, author. I was in the first book with Dr. Green, and I feel so fortunate and so blessed to have been a part of that project. And I was on her show not too long ago, a few days ago, actually. And I said, everything you touch, it turns to gold. And definitely, I want to be a part of a godly project and a God-fearing woman who has a platform. And I just enjoy sharing. I enjoy writing, and I enjoy sharing. In this particular chapter, I wrote about motherhood lessons. Normally, because my extensive career has spanned from pre-K through college, I normally write about educational topics, and I did blend a little bit of education in it because of my own two kids. I really talked about motherhood and gave some very important lessons and tips for mothers and mothers to be. So the platform with Dr. Green will be able to enlighten others, and I will just be continue to share with others as well.
Wonderful. So what virtue would you like more of?
Well, I'm like Kenyatta, strength and also honor. And I actually started my chapter with those two virtues. And so definitely those are the two that I really want people to walk away with, and continue to just use the information in order to gain something that will impact them in a positive way.
I love it. So, Dr. Tashika, I wanted to ask you. I know we heard some about you and everything, but we want to know what virtue you want more of.
So I always want more wisdom. In Proverbs 31, it says that when she opens her mouth, wisdom and faithful instruction is on her tongue. I always want more wisdom. I say wisdom keeps you, because it gives you what you need to maintain you, to sustain you, to walk in the way you're supposed to, so that you're not making choices that are not aligned with God. And even in the Bible, James 3 talks about two types of wisdom. And so there's the one type that comes from heaven, and then there's one type that comes from the earth. And the one that comes from the earth talks about being bitter and being selfish and things in that manner. And I never want to come off that way. Everything I do in my deed and my actions, I want to do it in humility. I want to do it and represent, God. I want to do it for others. And so that's what I pray for each and every day, is more wisdom,
and then to speak to some of the things that they said in regards to why they chose to do the project with you. I saw those same things in Tashika when I first met her. And it was just at different conferences. We've been in the same room, and just love her energy. Every time she speaks, you just learn something new. So I absolutely love being in the room with her, because she's always pouring into you. I think that's the education person, the teacher in her. And I love being around people who are always teaching, even when they don't mean to be. Some people just have that on them that as soon as they start talking, they're teaching you something, whether it be big or small. And all of you ladies fit right into that, the same kind of energy. So, I mean, it can't be anything but power in this book. So I wanted to see if you all could tell me a little bit. I think Dr. Essie shared a little bit about her chapter, but I wanted to go back around and talk about your particular chapter and what you wanted to bring to this project, what you want people to know when they read your chapter. So let's start back up at the top. We're going to go around again. We got a real good circle going here. So Tabika.
Yes. My chapter is the wise words of a woman. And it came from Proverbs 31 and 26, the same verse that Dr. Tashika mentioned. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. And I am one that loves sisterhood. I love to see women getting along, helping one another, serving one another, supporting one another. And it breaks my heart to see, the different things that go on, like on social media and on TV, of how, we see women just beating each other down with their words and fighting, and just the jealousy and envy that goes on. And just wanting people to see the other side, that sisterhood is real, even with a group of women that you don't know. And even with these women that are on here now, I've never physically met them, but because we are supporting one another in this anthology, we're supporting one another. And so there is sisterhood even in this. And so, that's my passion, is just to see, people getting along. And my chapter speaks about our words, how our words can kill somebody's spirit. It can cause somebody to be depressed, and not believe in themselves and hate themselves and everything. So we have to pay attention to the words that come out of our mouths. We have to take the time to think about what we want to say before we say it, because people are already broken from their childhood. And so, you could say one thing and it could remind them of something that happened, in their past, and it could take them to a dark place. And so I never want to be a person that hurts people, with their words and take them into that dark place that they're trying to come out of. So yes, that's what my my chapter.
We actually share the same message. Tashika knows I have a book called The Power Shut Up. And because words are everything, and we hold on to them for dear life sometimes. So I agree with you, and sisterhood. I mean, we have to be careful on how we're talking to not just other people, but like you said, ourselves. Because believe it or not, we're the first people that hear what we say, whether it comes out of our mouth or it's in our head. We're hearing it first. So we need to be careful with that. So I absolutely agree. Powerful message. Kenyatta, share with us a little bit about your chapter.
My chapter is called I'm Pushed Into My Purpose. Pushed into my purpose. That really goes into the strength in which we talked about earlier, and being pushed into doing something that you feel is the right thing to do. It also talks about the struggles of going through and realizing that some of those struggles, those major struggles, and needing the strength to get through those struggles. So identify some of those struggles are and how I got through, how I was able to overcome, how I was able to not go around them and under them, but get through them in order to get what God had for me. So it's pretty, and trying to get into this career, I had definitely faced a lot of those struggles, and I really felt it was important to share what some of them may be, and then so what are those things that I had to go through to even get through it.
Wow. So, and you are a first-time author, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm just going to throw that in there because it's always a wonderful feeling, scary too sometimes. But so tell me a little bit real quick about your experience as a first-time author.
Well, it was because I've always been writing. I've been
Okay.
writing in a journal for years. I mean, since high school. And so that was one of the things I'm thinking of. Okay, so I have this journal. There's some things that I probably can share a lot of from this journal. But I like to write, and I write constantly. So when I'm thinking of what should I say, what part of this journey should I actually share? And this first time of actually getting out there, what should that be? And so I kind of struggle with what I should actually be about, because there's so many things I really wanted to say. So I know that's why I know other things are coming in the future. So, but it was rewarding and a little scary at the same time. And then when I finished, I'm like, I'm expecting the editor to come back with all these red marks and lines and to change this, and this is not right, and go back. But it turned out pretty good. I was impressed with myself.
Wonderful. And I forgot to ask, Tamika, are you a first time author, or have you authored another book before?
Yes, I've authored another book before in 2014. It's called Release from My Past and Birthed into My Destiny. And it's like an autobiography of my past and how God set me free.
Wonderful. And I will say that it's almost like every time you birth a book, it's almost like the first time. You get the same feeling. So welcome to the author world for those who are first timers. And I'll check and see if anybody else is a first timer. So Sheila, let's talk with you a little bit about your chapter.
You're on mute, Sheila. I'll text her too, Lisa.
Oh, she doesn't realize. You know what? Look, and this is on a little joke time, but I found this cute little mug, but I have this little mug that lets you know that you're on mute. So sometimes if people are not looking, it's like I can just see you. But Sheila, as soon as you get that off, just hop right in there. I did want to mention before we go back to Dr. Tashika, Dr. Essie shared a little bit about your chapter, but you said you've been an author before, but most of your books you said were more educational. So how was this as something that's kind of a different read?
Well, you're exactly right. I do want to go back to my first book. When I retired in 2018 from North Carolina and transitioned to the DMV and started working at George Mason, it gave me an opportunity to write more and more, and really to take my life experiences and my journey in the field of education and really share it with others and give them some practical tips. So my first book was The Heart of School Transformation, My Journey into Transforming Urban Schools. So I was a school administrator for 20 of my 30 years and actually served principal, executive director, and then once again, college professor in North Carolina and also here at George Mason. And so I had an opportunity to write other books, leadership tidbits. I was in the first and the second book, also with Dr. Green, Coaching Champions. I was a part of that project as well, and definitely continue to write more and more books. So probably about 13 to 14 books in terms of being a contributing author. And I just love to write and I love to share. And my title of my chapter is Motherhood Lessons, as I have shared before. And I just really talk about my journey, sharing personal experiences with my own son and my daughter. And then hopefully those lessons will be transferred to someone who is a mother and may need some strategies and tips, and also those women who desire to be mothers. And so it's very explicit in terms of those lessons that I do share.
Wow. Well, and I like the range. I mean, there are people who are new, and then people who are very seasoned in writing. And you all can actually work with each other as a team. That's always a plus with collaborations. You actually develop your own little sisterhood where you can feed into each other and help each other through. I think Sheila, she's still working on trying to get in. So real quick, Dr. Tashika, while we're waiting on Sheila to see if she's can come in okay, I wanted to ask you, so how was, and it may be the same, but how was this volume different? What are maybe some of the differences from the first volume to this volume?
So some of the differences, one thing I say, you always learn how to assess what you do and adjust what you do. And so one thing that we did, why Kiana did not have a whole lot of red marks in her book. I actually did coaching sessions each month with the contributing authors, in particular those that needed the support and the coaching around their chapters and things of that nature. So we did do that. That was very different, and it was helpful as well. Also, the first book, when it was written, they shared their stories. But this book, they actually shared their stories through the lens of one of the verses in Proverbs 31:10-31. So they were to particularly select a verse and tell their story through the lens of that work. So that was great.
Wow.
We have a range of stories, coming from, like the motherhood and, from the aspect of, being pushed to purpose and just some of the things that they, learned. We have one story that talks about, women of the past that has, built, and that we stand on their shoulders today. And it's so, again, so relevant because now we're walking in a day where we have the first woman of color as
Absolutely.
our. And so, when I look at the title of the book and I think about it, I'm like, you know what? This is not a movement. This is who we are.
Yes.
And if we begin to acknowledge who we are and walk in, who we were designed and called to be, we could be so much more. And we need to stop settling. I always say when you settle, you kind of just deactivate your faith and say, God can't do anymore. And you limit yourself. So we don't want to settle. We want to do everything that we can do and go, go, go. I know you heard you say in the beginning, I'm busy, and I never use the word busy. I always use the word purposeful, because everything that you do has to be done with purpose and intention. And so if I'm just busy, then you get exhausted and you're unproductive and things of that nature. Everything is purposeful. And so I'm just, again, grateful to Volume 2. I'm looking forward to the many more volumes to come and more people joining us as we do this work and continue to carry it out. And again, I thank each of these ladies because, you, like I said, you don't give everybody your yes, and you don't trust everybody with your yes. But I'm glad that they could see the vision and that they trusted me with their yes, and also being first-time authors. And I did forget, Dr. Essie, we did the book together. We did an education book together called Coaching Champions: How to Understand the Players Before Giving the Plays. And it's really, education, but it also had a business leader in it too. And just really an aspect about, how to know the people you're coaching before you give the plays, and in the different directions of where they should go, and building those relationships with them. And we talked about a purpose mindset versus a career mindset. So thank you, Dr. Essie. Yes, I forgot all about that.
And actually, I learned something and I got to work on busy, because I think a lot of times I am being busy because I'm exhausted and I'm tired. But you gave me something to move towards so that I can label it differently. But I'll be able to label it differently when I move a little differently. So, because right now sometimes I'm busy and I'm really tired, but I keep pushing. So, that's like what I said. You learn and you talk to people and you hear them talk, and then you learn something and take it home with you and apply it. And that's when you've had a good time. To me, that's a good time. So, Sheila, were you able to come back in? Can you hear us?
Me one thing. There it
We
is.
got
I'm
you.
sorry.
Yes, we got
I
you.
was just stuck for a moment.
No problem. So tell us a little bit about your chapter.
So my chapter is called Destiny No Matter the Cost. And mine's talk a little bit about pretty much where I came from. I'm giving homage to my grandmother, my mom. My grandmother was a sharecropper. And I'm giving homage to all women of color because they came before we got here. And it's no way we could talk about where we are now, not let's talk about where we came from. And so I give a little bit about what happened, what things that happened and things that transpired in my life, relationship wise, and different things and circumstances, and how God brought me through them. But not only that, how to become an overcome, because you can't really talk about anything if you haven't been through anything. And just having gratitude and being grateful, just knowing that we stood on arms of other people to get to where we are. And we have to be grateful from where we came from. No, it wasn't easy. No, everything that wasn't given to us, things that happened to us was not fair. But guess what? In God, nothing, he shows us the things that he had to go through. So I'm so grateful to be a part of this book project because it came at a good time. I was reluctant at first to do it, but I know that all things, when God sent one of his beautiful angels, as Dr. Tashika Green, they came along, and after I heard her at a book anthology that was last year, I mean, it was, this was just a perfect opportunity to continue to talk about things that, the Lord wants us to share with other women and other people, to bring them through, to let them know that you're not the first one, but there are other people just like you, and they can share their stories and tell you, how they got over, how they came through the process successfully.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This just sounds like a powerful piece. And I'm looking forward to, I have definitely already placed my order. So I am looking forward to getting the book. I actually went out, and I have the first volume. So I'm just adding to my collection. And I am looking forward to reading all of your chapters. But I wanted to ask you something. A lot of times and before we get into this question and I go back around, I did want to, Cherie was reminding me that we're going to take a quick commercial break. So we're going to take a commercial break and then I'm going to come right back. So just 1 minute. Hold on. Welcome back. Okay, I had a question for you all. So a lot of times when you're writing in collaboration books, you're writing about what you know, what you've done, what you've experienced, that kind of thing. But if each of you could share with me kind of what you've learned through doing your chapter that has moved you forward, something maybe you didn't realize when you started this process. Because I've noticed that a lot of times when I've written a piece, in a project on my own, I actually come out learning something about me or about life or whatever it is. So can you share with me a little bit about what you might have learned through this process? And Tamika, will start with you.
You want me to go?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So what I've learned is I've always had this thing where I would write and then wouldn't do anything with it because I would look at somebody else's stuff and say, oh, mine's not that good, so I'm not going to do anything with it. And even when I would go back and read the things that I have written, I would say to myself, did I write this or did this come from someone else? But it was truly me that wrote it. And during this process, there was a confidence that was deposited from writing in this book. Like I said from the beginning, that meeting Dr. Tashika via phone, there was it was a peace there. It was love there, even though she didn't know me. And so when I started writing, I don't know, it wasn't one of those things where it was like I got stuck or I was procrastinating or all those other things that come with writing. Sometimes it was just a flow and it was just peace there. So I know that God chose me for this season. The time is such as this. So yes.
Love it. Love it. Kenyatta, share with us. What have you learned through this experience?
I learned that I can do this. I learned that I have put myself in, even though going through a lot of these different things, I put myself in a box. And it was, and that box was my comfort zone. And so I learned I had to stretch myself and get out of that comfort zone. And although I had been really journaling for years and really have been thinking about it, I was scared to do it. I wasn't sure how to do it. And so, start asking God if this is, when I saw this assignment, it was can I do this or should I do this? I really want to do this, but I don't know if I can do this. So I was really proud of myself, especially that I didn't get too many red marks, and to that I actually can do this, and it just kind of opened the door for me for other assignments to come. So it opened. I guess it just really tremendously opened my eyes to a lot of different things, and I'm just grateful, very
Well,
grateful
and
to
I,
be
I
here.
have the same fear of the red pen, to be honest with you. The editing part was the scariest part for me, but it was the most rewarding. I actually learned that the editing is a huge part of the process, and it's kind of like, and I called it on another program I was on, I said it was kind of the metamorphosis of a book. It's like that's when you kind of give it everything you have, you pass it over, and when it comes out, it's just like a wonderful butterfly because they have done all of their magic, and I accept it. I think initially I didn't accept the editing. It was like this is no longer mine. But after about 45 minutes, I think I was good. But it took me a minute. It's scary, because when
Yeah.
you're thinking you know what you're doing, and then when you give it away, they're like, well, there's a little tip here and there. So I feel you on that. So Sheila, share with us something that you maybe have learned through the process of doing this chapter in this book, that you didn't know or feel before you started.
Well, I think I'm not going to say I knew, but I knew that there was something in me to be able to do more. I knew that there was it was spoken into my life a long time ago that God was going to give me a platform. I didn't know what type of platform. So when this project came along, I had already just come off another book collaboration. I'm on another one as I speak, and I'm also writing my own. So I just once I poured into this, it seemed like the Lord just opened up another avenue for me to go into something else. So I've been doing multiple projects as we speak now, and I like it. I really do. I like it because writing was something that I have been doing for a very long time. I do a lot of legal documents. I also wrote a lot of things for churches, bylaws, different things. So I knew there was some writing, but I didn't know it was going to be for me. I thought I was
Mm,
going to be like a person on a talk show telling my story and talking, because that's what I always picture myself doing. Somebody famous doing a talk show host or something. But it's okay. God gave me this to write. I'll take it. I'm happy about it because I would have never thought I would be on a platform with so many awesome women of God, smart, talented, gifted, called by God. We're not the only ones. And that's the blessing. The Lord letting us see in this time that we're not all by ourselves. We have sisters that look like us. We have dynamic, awesome women, first time women, women that God had already been working on, doing things in the trenches that they never got their platform. The Lord is opening up doors for us right now. And I'm just so grateful to be a part. I really am. And I think for me, gratitude. Moving forward, the battle is never going to be lost. God has already won the battle. We're just going through the process. And I just thank him for that. Every time I think about something, I'm just so grateful. I love
mhm,
people. I love my family. I'm just a people person. So there, I think with me and my personality, I just always look at the outlook positive. Even if I don't feel it, I know that it's something good going to come of it. So I love being an encourager, and it's not even about trying to get ahead of anyone. We're all running the same race to get to the same
mhm.
finish line. And I think that's what we all have to understand. Our paths may be different. Someone's may be a little greater. Don't mean that God don't love you no different. It's just that your
That's
path is
right.
not going to be that person's path. Your story is not going to be their story. But guess what? Somebody went through something just like what you went through, and they do want to hear about it. And that's the blessing of it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody needs what you have to give is what I believe. So, and it's somebody different for everybody. I always tell people, even my, kids, I remind them that when the sun shines, it shines on all of us and we just grow differently in it. So there's no need for competition. I love it. So Dr. Essie, share with us a little bit about what you learned through this process. Because I mean, really, when you write any kind of book or you're on a project, I think you gain something from everything you touch. So, what was your gain?
You're exactly right, Lisa. And I shared previously I have written many books, and it has always been about education. So this time I took the opportunity to write about something that was really the greatest blessing and the greatest gift, and that is motherhood. You can imagine going from education and then all of a sudden talking about motherhood. And along the way, I would share with my kids because I touched the lives of so many other kids. And I recall my daughter used to say, "Mom, I think you love kids more than you love us. You spend more time in school than you do with us." And so for me, it was an opportunity to reflect once again on my journey in becoming a mother. And I think it gave me a sense of peace that, okay, I can share this with my daughter. I can share this with my son and let them know how much I love them, how much I appreciate them. And once again, no matter what accolades I have received, no matter what accomplishments, how many degrees, motherhood is the best of all.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And it's hard work sometimes, but it's okay. Because it really comes, sometimes when they're younger, you're thinking, oh my goodness. But as they get older, you start to, my best wow moments are when I've taught something or tried to instill something in my children, and now that they're grown, sometimes it just kind of comes back something they say or something they do, and secretly I say, wow, they were listening to me. It didn't seem like it, but they were listening to me. And then I'm just happy. They're like, what is she smiling about? I was like, you don't know. Sometimes you're feeling like this is falling on deaf ears, but they really do. They want that structure, and they hear you. They really do hear you. So before we go into letting everybody know how to reach out to you, and Dr. Tashika, you're going to have a moment to share with us what is happening this weekend. We're going to do one more commercial, and then we're going to come back and find out how she is stretching this into the weekend, and you all should not be missing what's going on. So hold on, and we'll do one more commercial.
Saving My Pockets was founded by Shariva Smith, where she tells you all the latest sales, all the greatest couponing tricks, hacks, and places to go find the half-price items, buy two, get one free, even flash sales. You don't want to miss it. Even the biggest discounts out here on the streets. So make sure you join the Facebook group, Saving My Pockets.
Welcome back. That's Shariva. She is a couponing queen. And one day I'm going to learn how to coupon.
I need to learn too.
So yes, we are going to let y'all know when them classes are here because she knows her stuff. So before we leave, I want to first start off with everybody. We're going to end with you, Dr. Tashika, so you can tell us about this weekend. So we'll start with Tabika and tell us about how people can reach you, get in touch with you, because in a minute they're going to need to get that book from you.
Yes, true. I can be reached on, well, I'll give you my email address. It's beautifullycreatedb@gmail.com, and that's BEAUTIFULLY, the word created, and the letter B @gmail.com. I'm also on Facebook under Tabika Henson Garnes, and Instagram as Tabika.Tabika.
So Kenyatta, tell everybody how they can reach out to you.
All right, I am on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, as Kenyatta Powers, except for Facebook, in which I am Kenyatta Powers-Rucker. My email address, Kenyatta.Powers and the number 2 @gmail.com. I also have a Facebook group for Taste of Technology, and that is a group that supports IT jobs and IT conferences and different opportunities in the IT field for young adults as well as adults.
Love it. So and I want to remind you all to please share your information on the Luncheon with Lisa page for those who want to reach out to you, because I love sharing your information and connecting people. So Sheila, I did want to mention Victoria Holland is watching. Thank you all so much, Sharon, Sylvia, Victoria said by 3. So everybody who's listening, I'm just throwing that out there. Don't start with 1, start with 3. So I wanted to make sure everybody out there got that. We're working with 3. Don't start with 1. Somebody else wants what you got. So Sheila, tell us how we can get in touch with you.
So I'm on Facebook, Sheila Gibson, and my website is htt:// G is girl Cornett CORNETT.com. And also I'm Sam's Consultant. I am a Sam's Consultant. I do estate planning. So it's Sam's Consulting. I'm sorry, Sam's Consultant at gmail.com. So I do estate planning, wills writing, consulting, anything that you need to know about how to plan your future. I'm the person.
Wonderful. And Dr. Essie, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
You can definitely visit my website at www.dressespeaks.com, and it is linked to all of my social media platforms along with my email address. Definitely check it out.
Wonderful. It's been a pleasure. Now, Dr. Tashika, you also can tell people how to reach out to you, but tell us a little bit about what's going on this weekend.
Yes, so this weekend I tried to post it. I made a mistake with the date, but this weekend we will be having the 6th annual Depreciation for Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence virtual celebration, Saturday, November 21st at 1 p.m. We will not be Facebook Live, so you have to register to join us at www.2eseasons.com. We have speakers. We have Coach Lisa Jones that will be with us. Lady Nakia Wright of A Woman's Voice Matters, and evangelist Sarah Grace from The Grace Effect. And she actually, I'm going to play a little clip tomorrow of her and how she closed us out last year. Like, she left us on the floor. And so I'm just going to let you know that she's coming from Alabama virtually. So I'm excited about her. We have some breakout sessions. True Wealth Starts in the Mind. Coach Lisa Jones will be facilitating that. Girl, Get Your Mind Right. That'll be facilitated by Natasha Reed. She's a clinical licensed therapist. And she also has a book called Girl, Get Your Mind Right. Your Body is the Temple by Coach Rosalind Laws, who is a health coach and an herbalist. And so she'll be there as well. I'm trying to remember everything. You know, you get past 40-something, you got little kids.
Right.
You start to forget. You guys were talking with your kids older. Well, let me just tell you, okay? Yes, 23, 10, and 8. But
yeah.
But yeah, so Your Body is Your Temple. Living a Balanced Life. Evangelist Sarah Grace will do that breakout session. And Marriage Built to Last by Cynthia Green, who is a relationship coach. And of course, we have you, Lisa, who will be doing our roundtable with the authors. Thank you. Excited. Comedian Tanya Lewis. Everybody should know comedian Tanya Lewis. If you don't follow her, she is hilarious. And a psalmist, she actually just dropped her song during this pandemic called I Declare. Her name is Jocelyn Ray, and she's phenomenal. And so I'm excited. We'll be celebrating all of the contributing authors. We have Ellen Bryan from WSA 9 News in Great Day, Washington. We'll start off with our greeting. Jennifer Jones, Dr. Jennifer Jones is our MC. We have a virtual photo booth. We have virtual videos. We have, you name it, we have it. And we're going to start off with a pre-celebration at 12:30 and then our celebration at 1. And of course, we would definitely go, if I wouldn't say this, that we would be honoring 14 women in my mother's name who have contributed to their community, and then honoring the young lady who has been awarded the scholarship. So a long day, but a day that was intentionally planned for you so that you could walk in character, wisdom, courage, and strength. So join us. Please join us.
Yes, please register. I saw the list of honorees and dynamic group of women. One of them I was surprised because I didn't know the connection, but I'll explain it on Saturday. But I was just like, oh my gosh! So yeah, I'm excited. Lisa is. I've known Lisa for a long time. Actually, me getting even started in launching my online magazine. Lisa was a huge part of that motivation.
You talking about Lisa Jones?
I love Lisa Jones.
Lisa Jones, yes.
So love her. Yes, love her. It's been a long time. 2012, I think. So I'm
Okay.
excited about Saturday, and I'm hoping that everybody tunes in. Michelle has tuned in. Say hello, Victoria. So thank everybody for tuning in. But Tashika, let everybody know where they can, connect with you. And then we'll, say goodbye till not
Yes,
next Thursday.
yes, on Saturday, because they're all going to go and register now. So you can
That's
find me
right.
at tashikagreen.com. That's where you can find me. And if you go there today, you will get a free gift. So go there, find out, and subscribe, and you will get a free gift today. And I don't want to go, Lisa, without thanking the sponsors and donors and contributors, because people just started to reach out and say, how can I help? And, what do you need? And that shows a lot, and I always
Mhm.
say, again, my mother has already sown the seeds. I'm just reaping the benefits of her labor. And so I'm grateful to
Absolutely.
that, and grateful to everyone here. And if I could just leave with some concluding remarks, is that, again, when these ladies, accepted this assignment, I kept reinforcing to them that it's not an opportunity. It's an assignment. It's just what it's called. And, Lisa, you have how many books, Lisa?
6 I co-authored, and then one of my own, with 2. Yeah.
Okay, and Dr. Essie said about 14 she has. Topeka has a
Yes.
couple. Sheila has a couple. And Kenyatta, we're letting you know now that you are not finished,
That's
because
right.
God is going to keep trusting you with assignments because you know how to handle them with excellence. And so, again, we celebrate the first-time authors, and I celebrate everything that you guys are doing. God reminded me yesterday that the assignment is bigger than where you are. If you can just reach that one person, then you did what
Mhm.
God had said. So thank you again. I appreciate you. And thank you, Lisa, for having us here today. And we continue to pray that your platform will be used to elevate people and inspire them to greatness.
Thank you so much. It has been my pleasure to have you ladies on. And I'm hoping that we can bring you back, because I know you all will be doing amazing things. So please stay connected. I wanted to remind everybody that Luncheon with Lisa actually comes on every Thursday, 7 to 8. We stream live on Facebook and YouTube. And we're going into the new year. So like I said, this is the last Thursday before the first holiday of 2020. And I know this is a rough time of year, but I wanted to actually just send my blessings out to everyone to have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Even if we're home, we have to stay with them, but we can still make it a good one. It'll be one for the books for sure. But we stay safe this year so that we can share with our families next year and the year after. So stay safe. Stay home if necessary, wear your mask, social distancing. I try not to, get too much into that, but I really feel like I need to say that on the platforms I have, to just remind people that it's so important that we stay safe and do the right thing, because everything we do is about someone else. It's not about us. So please enjoy your holiday from Luncheon with Lisa. And it's been a pleasure to share this with these ladies. And Saturday, I am looking forward to seeing you all again. So have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
You too.